Hello, everyone. My name is Alicia Codrington. I just came to show you just a little bit of information about COVID-19 and why we are in a new normal. We are need to think and operate as if we are in quarantine, and that we are still social distancing, and that the idea of us coming out of the house needs to come out of our minds, and we need to operate as if we need to operate social distancing and operate as if we're living a quarantine lifestyle. Shout out to my apostle, Dorothy Denise Hayes, and my pastor in training, Salimo Taylor, from New Life Now Church. Shout out to all my brothers and sisters in New Life Now Church, all my family, all my friends. I'm going to share the PowerPoint now. I will skip some things, and as I'm speaking, I might not, excuse me if I stutter over a word or something like that, because I'm changing my vocabulary as I'm going to. So this is the PowerPoint that I had, and the first thing I talked about was the fact that there are 7 human coronaviruses, 4 of which have mild symptoms, and they all can cause the common cold. There's also 3 additional that are that have a zoonotic origin. Hint the word zoo. All of these viruses evolved first from a bat, transmitted into an animal, and then into a human. So we have 3 different viruses here: SARS-1, MERS, and SARS-2. SARS-1 developed in Wuhan, China in 2002, and its fatality rate was 10%. MERS developed in Saudi Arabia in 2012, and its fatality rate was 30%. SARS-2 developed in Wuhan, China in 2019, and its fatality rate is 3%. And your question might be, how come the mortality rates for SARS-2 that cause COVID-19 disease is only 3%, and all these people are dying? Well, that's because we had a hard time containing SARS-2 and stopping the spread because of the asymptomatic people, the people who are infected but not showing symptoms. But in MERS and SARS-1, we were able to contain the spread of these viruses because everyone who were infected with these viruses showed symptoms. So they were quarantined, and the virus was isolated and did not spread across the world. So this is an example of an asymptomatic person with no symptoms that is capable of spreading this virus to many people because they don't know they are infected. So here I compared SARS-1 and SARS-2, and one of the main differences is the asymptomatic population in SARS-2. Here is a timeline with the days. This is day 0, day 7, day 14. And let's assume you are infected with SARS-2 on day 0. When you become infected, you are infectious, meaning you can infect someone else with SARS-2. And then you go through a time period where you are you don't have any symptoms, and then symptoms start to develop. In some cases, people have mild symptoms such as not be able to taste, not be able to breathe, not be able to smell, not be able to taste. And some people have more severe symptoms like fever, coughing, having trouble breathing, pneumonia, and eventually ARDS. ARDS is acute respiratory distress syndrome, which can lead to death. So one main problem is this time period where people are not showing symptoms, because of course, if they don't know they're infected, they can spread it. Another problem is people who just never show any symptoms at all whatsoever, and they are within the population, and they do not have symptoms, but they do have the virus, and they can spread the virus. So this is a population of people minding their own business, walking around, and as you can see here, there are asymptomatic people within the population. So these asymptomatic people are circled in red. If you look at this individual right here, every individual that is infected with SARS can infect at least 3 people in one environment. So let's assume this person infect those 3 people. Then those people can infect other people. But let's just look at the people who are asymptomatic. If each person in this image each asymptomatic person in this image infect 3 people. That's how many people will be infected in that one gathering, in that one party, in that one visit to the beach. So it's really important to social distance, to quarantine, and to use your biosafety methods. Biosafety equipment, such as your mask and your gloves, if possible. Please remember, you should not be, someone should not be coming to your house that don't live with you. If the person doesn't live with you, you shouldn't be in a car with them. If the person doesn't live with you, you should not be interacting with them. You should not be having a person coming in and out of your house, interacting with your family. We all need to be having a mindset of social distancing and quarantining at this point. That's how we have to live for now. It is a new normal. So I just want to talk quickly about herd immunity, because that's something that a lot of people was talking about. So why is it not effective for COVID-19 yet? So herd immunity is based upon the concept of vaccination, vaccinated people. So I'm going to show you some images of people who are healthy, which is in blue, people who are vaccinated, and then people who are infected. So here you have a healthy population with 2 sick people infecting that population through aerosol. Basically, like we can assume, like sneezing, coughing, just like how SARS-2 is transmitted through sneezing, coughing, and maybe on surfaces. And as a result of that, so many people are infected, which is the red population. But if we had some vaccinated people within this population, those vaccinated people save some people's lives. Even though there's infected people in the mix, less people will get infected with the virus. If we had more vaccinated people, even with the two infected people there, the population, some people will not get infected. So it will be a general population of immunized people. And because someone was immunized, they kept this person and this person and this person from getting the virus. So that's basically a basic understanding of herd immunity. So we don't want to think of herd immunity as of now with COVID-19, because we don't have a vaccination as yet that has been approved and released. So we want to make sure that we're not encouraging people to go out into the environment and be comfortable amongst people and call it herd immunity. It doesn't matter if some people had the virus and are recovering from it. There's still studies being done in the lab from the people who are recovering. The studies are being done on their antibodies to determine if their antibodies are as effective as it should be against the virus. Another thing is, like, again, we have a large number of asymptomatic population. So that's another reason why we shouldn't rely on the herd immunity. Another thing is there's no vaccination, as I mentioned. And another is there's mutations that are occurring in a virus when it jumps from person to person to person. And this can result in possibly a COVID 2020, meaning we can have a new strain of this virus, and that will infect anybody, whether you had the virus before, had COVID-19, SARS-2 before, or COVID-19 before or not. So we just need to be wise and be careful. This is the graph that we're aware of, and we know that we've hit our peak a couple weeks ago, and now we're going down where we have less cases. And that doesn't mean we all just hang out and chill in this world, we just all hang out and chill and, just have fun. That is not what we should be doing, because the end result, it can look like this, where we'll have low amount of cases, but then the cases will increase again. That's why we have to have a mindset of social distancing. That's why we have to have the mindset of a new normal. In terms of working or going to work, I suggest that you have a conversation with your employer about what is their social distancing plan, if they have one, and they need to have one in place before you go back to work. Everyone, employer, all schools, everyone should have a social distancing plan in place, whether it's all going to be online, all going to be on Zoom, or whatever. It needs to be a plan in place, because social distancing still needs to occur. Quarantining as much as possible still needs to occur. Our biosafety still needs to occur. We should not be in groups hanging out or having parties at all. I This is old information, but just as a reminder, just showing that, you know, these are the number of cases and many people who are asymptomatic. And it's the asymptomatic population, include in also the symptomatic population, but the big problem is the asymptomatic population that is spreading this virus, because they don't know they have it. So they're going out, hanging out with people, doing all kinds of stuff when you could just stay home. And I'm concerned because our African American community is being hit hard with this virus. And there's a lot of reasons why. One reason has a lot to do with the fact that we want to do what we want to do. And some of us understand that we need to stay home and has been home since day one, even before we heard anything from the president or the government. We were staying home. And then there's some people who are always questioning, trying to find out if they should stay home. And then there are people who are out doing whatever they want to do. Like they just go out, they be driving motorcycles, you know, it's like nothing has changed. Like, I'm going to live my life, I'm going to do, but then you are not showing any appreciation for yourself. You're not, basically, it's almost like you don't care about yourself and you don't care about other people, because you can be infected other people, and you can be spreading the virus. And the thought of that should make you stay home and make you quarantine and make you have a mindset of quarantine. Listen to God. And I know there's a lot that people have to say about this one comment, but I really do think that whether you're an atheist or agnostic or whatever, that you should, at this point in your life, in this pandemic, you should have a conversation with God, and allow the wisdom of God to guide you on what you should do. And I believe the wisdom of God will tell you to quarantine as much as you can, to social distance as much as you can, to be wise. And he will give you, you know, some wisdom on how to handle that. Stay home as much as possible. Your mind should be on quarantine, social distance, and your biosafety equipment for your entire family and for yourself. There's no need for 2-3 months down the line for you to lose a family member, for you to lose a friend, because of your influence, because you decide to still hang out and do what you want to do. So let's just be as wise as possible. Also, again, it is a new normal. Our new normal is wearing our biosafety equipment, our face masks, social distancing everywhere you go, social distance. Stay home as much as possible. It shouldn't be no hanging out with friends in the evening, on the weekends, nothing. You should go home. You should be at work and home if you have to go to work. And work should be limited. Your number of hours should be limited. How long you're there should be limited. How many times you go in should be limited. And it should not be any social group events at all. Also, it's our lifestyle for now, so we have to get used to it. I love you all, and that's what I wanted to share with you. I hope it was helpful. I really hope that it leaves an impact and that a lot of you use this information. I love you all, and I will talk to you guys later. If you have any questions for me, feel free to ask. I'm in the area of immunology, infection, and inflammation in virus activation of immune cells. So I study a lot of this information that I'm sharing with you. I study a lot more in depth, but if you have any questions regarding anything, regarding the virus, regarding, you know, your family or whatever, I'm more than willing, especially in our community, to share and to talk with you. So feel free to reach out. If you receive this video through my pastor or my apostle or any of my friends, you can reach out to them and they will contact me. All right, have a beautiful day.